Me.
Okay. I am Cindy Antonio. I am the Salary and Benefits Chair for the Cleveland Teachers Union. I had the benefit about 2 years ago to meet Daniel, and we talked extensively about this program that is offered, and he shared some additional exciting news with me today. This is a great opportunity for what our dues do for our members and what an opportunity we have for our members. My assistant, Rita Leskovic, has helped me tremendously in helping out with this program and getting this event off the ground for you. We are recording this program. If for some reason you need the record link, please let me know and I will send it over to you. There will also be follow-up sent out to union chairs for members who need want additional information. So Daniel, thank you very much, and go right ahead.
Thanks, everybody. Few, of course, the obligatory Zoom. If everyone could make sure they're on mute, that'll be helpful for everyone. If you're like me and you have questions, under the More button, you can please enter your questions in the chat. What we'll do is I'll do a quick presentation here, go through the program that Cindy mentioned, and then spend as much time as we need going through and answering all of your questions from the chat. And I know we want to get done here. Number one, you've been online all day, so let's make sure you get some outdoor time before the Browns beat the Bengals tonight. I am originally from Cleveland Heights, but my wife is from Cincinnati, so now I'm from Cincinnati. But I'm still a Browns fan. I'll have my jersey on later tonight. So to get started, see if I can advance the slide here. So the free college benefit is an opportunity for dues-paying members and their families to earn either an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree online at no out-of-pocket cost. Okay, that's a lot. It's a big sentence with a lot in there, so we're going to unpack it, right? As Cindy mentioned, this is a benefit for being in the union, right? Dues-paying members, that's the first thing we look for. It's important to note right away, none of your dues money fund this program. All right, we build this entire program is run with $0 from your dues, but it is for members of the union to participate. We work with every union in the AFL-CIO, as well as the AFTs from other states as well. So we've got unions from all 50 states, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But this is a union benefit, all right? Some benefits are just for us as the employees, right, as the member. This benefit, however, also applies to families. So dues-paying members and their families. Doesn't matter if I do this in California or Maine. Okay, Dan, what counts as a family member? We will talk about that, but spouses, domestic partners, children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, your brothers and sisters, your parents, your cousins, your aunts and uncles, right? These are all folks that we consider family members, right? And this is a benefit that can raise all of the boats, if you want to use that metaphor, rather than just for the members. So dues-paying members and their families can earn an associate's degree or bachelor's degree. Again, they'll talk about this. I'll talk about this later. Our associate's degree program, we have about 40 different degrees, and they are offered through Eastern Gateway Community College. Eastern Gateway is over in Youngstown and Steubenville. That's where those physical campuses are located. And I'll talk about them in a second, but Eastern Gateway is in the same group of schools as Tri-C. So we're all familiar with Tri-C. Eastern Gateway just happens to be the same set of schools just over in Youngstown and Steubenville, all right? Our bachelor's degree program is brand new, as Cindy mentioned, and we run this program out of Central State University, which is down in Wilberforce, Ohio. It's outside our Wright-Patt Air Force Base. So again, when I'm in California giving this presentation, I have to explain where Steubenville and Dayton are. But with Buckeyes, I don't have to do that, right? So dues-paying members and their families can earn an associate's degree or bachelor's degree, and we'll talk more about that, online, right? Our programs are 100% online, right? Meaning Steubenville's a great place, but you never have to go there, all right? We have students from all 50 states and Canada and some other locations like India taking these programs because they are online, all right? So again, Dayton's wonderful, but you don't have to go there. Dues paying members and their families earn associate's degrees or bachelor's degrees online at no out-of-pocket cost. This is usually the one that catches everybody. No out-of-pocket cost means as long as you are in the union, you and your family do not pay tuition, do not pay fees, and the textbooks are included as well. So we even embed the books for you in the online classes so you don't have to pay. And if you've written a check for a textbook recently, you know those come in $1,000 increments. It's an expensive endeavor, and so we've included that in the cost as well. I'll remind you, if you have questions, please put them in the chat function, and I'll move to our next slide, which is usually the first question I get, like, is this for real, right? Or how on earth is this even possible, right? So let's talk about the reality of this program, right? There are currently more than 35,000 students studying right now in this Union Plus free college benefit. It's about 33,000 at the associate's level and about 2,500 at the bachelor's level. All right, that 1,500 at the bachelor's is actually low. We just finished an enrollment period this week. These are from all 50 states. Our students are actually about half of our students are Caucasian, about 25% are African American, about 19% are Latino, and then the remainder of the 100% are Pacific Islander, Native American, or individuals who identify 2 or more. All right, so we've got a really diverse, and compared to other institutes of higher education, that's actually incredibly diverse in terms of student population. Our average student is about 42 years old, and about 85% of our students are over the age of 24. We even have students in the 70 to 80 year range as well. All right, so we say it is never too late to do this. And that 35,000 students represents a broad range of, we get people from everywhere. That's, I think, the point we're gonna make there. Since the beginning of this program in 2016, more than 60,000 union families have participated, right? And so this is, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. That used to be a saying, and we're kind of approaching that here where we've got so many people from all over. It really supports the mission that we're trying to do. We've had, again, 2,700 graduates, and actually another several thousand getting ready to walk across the stage this coming year. So, and then our students have transferred credits to more than 650 institutions, including Ohio State, Bowling Green, Miami, Kent, OU, UC, as well as institutions outside of Ohio like Dartmouth and University of California, right? So very successful for people, however they want to use it for their academic career. The real reason this program exists and has substance is because of the power and solidarity of organized labor, right? You think about the history of this country. There was a point in time when a fair wage was too good to be true, and a safe work environment was too good to be true, and having Saturday and Sunday off was too good to be true, and a pension and benefits. These were all too good to be true right up until the point when unions got formed and people banded together and they made it happen, to the point where it's now, we don't even think about the weekends anymore, right? That's just like a thing. So the idea that college could be free, right? Too good to be true, right? Except that unions got together and did something about it. And this program is a direct result of that sort of power and the focus of what happens when people put their mind to something. So our program, again, I mentioned, is online. We all remember going to school and probably juggling 5 or 6 classes a semester over a 14 or 16-week term. That doesn't work for working adults, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. And a family, and now you got COVID, and there's like 800 things going on. Our program is really built for adults, and so we broke the terms out into 8-week sessions. That means every fall we have a September start, but we also have an October start. We have a January start, but we also have a March start. And then we usually have one in May. We've also started adding a second summer as well. Right? What these 8-week courses allow students to do is fit college into their lives rather than trying to rearrange your life to go to college, right? And particularly if it's ground-based and they want you on a campus 5 days a week, it's like, how am I supposed to work? Who's going to watch my kids? So this online nature and 8-week format means most of our students take 1 or 2 classes at a time. You can take the courses at the time that's convenient to you, right? So during the week, we see, nobody's logged on during the day, and then at 9 o'clock at night, our usage spikes, right? Because what does that mean? It's like, well, I finished my job, I leave school at 3:30, I continue to work till 6, spend some time with the family, put some kids to bed around 9, and then I can focus on my work, right? So this isn't to say that going to college online is easy. It's a lot of work. We're all now painfully aware of how much work it takes doing this stuff online. But it is possible. And so what happens with students is if your assignments are due midnight on Sunday, and your Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are really, really rough, you can stagger your work Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in order to meet your assignment deadlines. All right. I can tell you this has been probably one of the most successful features of this program is how it is built for adults. All right. And while it's online, you are not stranded. Both of our campuses are unionized faculty. It is a different teachers union at Eastern Gateway. I won't say their name. And then we are AAUP at Central State. But what this means is you do get a faculty of record on your course. So this isn't just like throw you online and hope something works. We have tutoring support. We have 24/7 help desk. And there's an entire network of other students just like you or just like your family members who help them to be successful, right? So we don't want people thinking they're just going to start clicking around online. There's a whole support network. Again, I'll remind you, if you got any questions, I already see them popping up in the chat, and we'll get to those at the end. Eligibility, again, we mentioned this earlier, but dues paying members, active and retired. So yes, if you have retirees, their grandkids, for example, qualify for this, or we actually have great grandchildren as well participating. So it's a great thing to know. Yes, if you are right on the edge of getting close to retirement, this benefit would follow you and your family members through to retirement. That's a common question. Another common question is are there any limits to the number of family members? And the answer is no. If this Thanksgiving you want to put a free college flyer on everybody's plate before you eat your turkey, you can do that, right? And that's also a really good measure of if they're family or not. Did you invite them? Are you willing to have them over? But so there's no limit to the number. The family members do not need to be living with you. They do not need to be living in Ohio. They can be anywhere. All right, so it's a really generous benefit that includes kids, grandkids, other financial dependents, et cetera. I know there will be questions on that, but I just wanted to double down on who's eligible.
I'm going to interrupt Daniel real quick. CTU talked to Daniel. Actually, I talked to Daniel before this, and we went through the broadest meaning of what a relative could possibly mean. So if me and my boyfriend have been living together, as long as if Daniel has a problem, he would contact me. I would contact the member, and we'd be like, this person put you down, but we notice you're single. And then you'd say, oh yeah, it's allowed. Okay, no problem. So please know that CTU is going for the very broadest meaning of family that we can possibly go for.
And I was going to credit you, Cindy, because other unions are not as generous. So CTU is at the absolute most generous definition, and it's because the union wants everyone to succeed, given your commitment to education, right? I mean, it fits hand in glove with what you're doing. So a little bit about our academic partners. It is the case that all of the students in this program will either study at Eastern Gateway or Central State. We a lot of times will get a question, can I use this benefit at Miami? The answer is no. These are our two partners right now, although we are looking to add additional partners in the very near future. Eastern Gateway Community College is based in Steubenville. They've got a campus in Youngstown. The focus is associate's degrees. As I mentioned, they are no different than Cincinnati State, where I live, Tri-C, where you live, Lorain County, if you're a far west sider. Same community college system, granting the 2-year associate's degree. I will say, because we do not place any restrictions, most of our students are half-time, maybe 3/4 time. So that 2-year degree might take you 3 or 4 years if you are going at half-time or quarter time, if that makes sense. But these are the 2-year degrees that community colleges offer all over Ohio. Eastern Gateway is public. Eastern Gateway is nonprofit. Eastern Gateway has 2 bargaining units on campus, one for faculty and one for staff. And while we do have physical campuses with about 2,000 students, 35,000, 34,000 and change are online. Eastern Gateway is accredited by HLC. Higher Learning Commission is the same body that accredits Tri-C and Ohio State and everybody else. So you know with your accreditation that your credits will transfer and that they have value. This is as opposed, you may have a family member that went to a for-profit school like, do you remember ITT Tech? When they went out of business, those students were stuck with their loans that they had to repay and their credits that were really, really difficult, if not impossible, to transfer, right? So that HLC accreditation is really the gold standard that allows your credits to have value and transfer. Well, we have more than 30 different, it's more than 40 programs now. For this group, we may end up talking about the childhood education degree. This would be perfect if you were a para, for example, and wanted to get on a pathway to your teacher's license. So we do have an option there. Criminal justice, paralegal, these are all great options. About 40% of our students are studying business. Conversely, you may have a child that wants to go to Ohio State. You may be concerned with COVID right now. They could do 2 years for free with us and then transfer all those credits to Ohio State. Because you're in Ohio, I'll talk about, there are 2 programs. One is called the Ohio Transfer Module, or OTM. There is another program called TAG, which is Transfer Assurance Guidelines. Those are both legislated in the state of Ohio, meaning if you take those courses at Eastern Gateway, they have to transfer to a public 4-year. So again, Bowling Green, Miami, Ohio State, UC, Cleveland State. All right, so you have added benefits being in Ohio, as do your family members. All of this comes from the accreditation. Okay. I imagine there'll be questions on that, which is great. And if you have them, please put them in the chat. Our bachelor's degree program just launched. We had a trial of about 50 students in the fall of 19. And we are just getting this underway. Central State University, again, is in Wilberforce, about 2,000 in-seat students, focused on bachelor's degrees. We currently offer 3. We have a bachelor's degrees in education, which does lead to the K-3 teaching license. So the Early Childhood Ohio Teacher's License. We also have a bachelor's in business management and a bachelor's in criminal justice. We are looking to add more degrees in 2021. And in January, that list will be intervention specialist, middle childhood education, and several of the subject areas in the Ohio teaching license, like science, math, language arts, and I believe social studies is the 4th. Public institution, nonprofit. If you know anything about Central State is an HBCU and a minority serving institution, which is called MSI. And that's why, part of the reason why Central State wanted to join and be part of this program, because our mission has always been to bring education to people for whom education has been traditionally denied. and that absolutely aligns with the mission of an HBCU. And so they're a natural partner for us and a wonderful partner for us. The degrees we have at Eastern Gateway in education, criminal justice, and then our management degree already articulate to Central State degrees. Meaning, if you wanted to be a teacher, you can have, wanted to start from scratch, get a free 2-year degree from Eastern Gateway, transfer those credits to a free bachelor's degree at Central State, and you just got your teacher's license at no cost. Okay, so that's a way to think about this program. I'm sure we'll talk about that when we do some Q&A here in a second. So Dan, this all sounds wonderful. How do I know the right program for me? All right, so this is a great way to be thinking about the program. Really, there's like a rule of 60, 6-0, all right? If you have less than 60 hours, okay, of college credit, so this could mean you tried college a couple years ago and you got 10 hours, maybe you tried it 20 years ago and it didn't work out. So the vast majority of our students, easily 2/3 of our students, are bringing some credit, college credits that they earned in the past. But if you don't have your associates yet, or you have less than 60 hours, when you call the number that I'm going to show you here in a second, your advisor is going to talk you through the free college benefit at Eastern Gateway. Right? That's a great place to kind of get back into the swing of going to school online. That's a great place to accumulate those credits and then get that associate's degree first. Okay, so less than 60, Eastern Gateway. Maybe you already have your associate's degree. Maybe you already have your bachelor's degree, but you're like me, you have a bachelor's degree in classical languages, right? And you can't get a job with that. So you want to be a teacher, right? If you have your associate's degree or more, right? So 60 hours or more, that includes bachelor's. When you call the number, we're going to have our advisors talk to you about the options at Central State University, all right? Particularly to complete a bachelor's degree in management, education, or criminal justice. Does that make sense? Well, again, we can talk about this in a second, but if you have less than 60 Eastern Gateway, if you have more than 60 Central State. One question that I do not have an answer for you right now is whether or not and which courses might count towards your continuing education or your plus 30s to activate those kickers in your contract. So I have a note here to get some guidance on that. And what I'll get is the dean of the the dean of the education schools at each school to give me some guidance on how we can help your members with that. Okay, so that's usually a question about continuing education. How do I enroll? Right. So if all of this sounds interesting to you, for the associate's degree, you're going to, and I'll put this up. I'm actually going to show you the web page here in a second. But the web address is unionplusfreecollege.org. If you put in Google Union Plus Free College, this is the first hit. But if you're like me and you like actually typing the address in, unionplusfreecollege.org is the place to go. For the associate's degree, there are only 3 steps. You fill out the college's application. It takes about 15 minutes. It's every application you've ever filled out, ever. The second step is the FAFSA, and I'll give you a minute on the FAFSA here. Free application for federal student aid. If you have ever filled this out, it takes more than 15 minutes. All right, this is a pain in the butt, and there's no way around it. It asks for 2 years of your tax information, and what the FAFSA is doing is it is determining something called your expected family contribution, or your EFC. This is the amount that our federal government, in its wisdom, believes you can afford to pay for college, right? So they assume that you don't live in a house and that you don't eat, right? That all of your money is disposable and can be used to pay for college, right? The EFC actually doesn't matter for our program. It determines, however, your eligibility for grants or for loans, okay? We do not take out loans for this program. I'm going to say that again. Do not take out any loans for this program. The point of free college is not that you get a degree and have $80,000 in debt. All right, we are not doing that. All right, what we're doing is if there are federal grants that are available, it is those grant monies that fund this program, right? In the back of your head, you're thinking, all right, but how can they do this for free? The answer is those federal grant monies end up funding the entire program. It's important to know that even if you don't qualify for any grants, this is still a free program for you and your family. In fact, 75% of our students, right, 75% of 35,000 is math I can't do. It's a lot of people. They do not qualify for any grants, and their college is still free. All right, so I'm taking time here because people do the FAFSA, they get the note back that says they don't qualify for any grants, and then they throw up their hands and say, oh, I'm not eligible. That is false. No matter what the Department of Education tells you on your FAFSA, this program is still free for you and your family. I'm trying to be very clear about it. So application, FAFSA, transcripts. You do need to have a high school transcript or GED equivalency to qualify for this program. A very common question will be, I have a junior in high school, can they start taking classes? The answer is no. Your junior in high school should take advantage of the College Credit Plus if they can at your high school. And then those credits they can transfer into our program to complete their degree for free, all right? Application, FAFSA, high school transcripts. And then if you do have previous college credit, you submit those official transcripts to us as well. That's for Eastern Gateway. For the bachelor's degree, it's the identical program, exactly the same. You fill out Central State's application, you fill out the FAFSA, you submit your college transcripts, remember, because you've got either 60 credit hours previously or your associate's degree. So we need those officials. And then the only kicker is, because this is a bachelor's degree, you do need to have a 2.2 grade point average on all your previous college in order to be admitted. So, all right, Dan, I had a 2.1. What do I do? We'll enroll you at the Eastern Gateway program for free, give you some courses there until your GPA gets over the 2.2, then we'll transfer you to Central State. All right, so that's one of the benefits of having both programs. This is the a screenshot of the website, but I'm actually, if you'll indulge me, I'm going to share the actual website here. This is always dangerous, right? Let's see if I can do a new share. And let's see if I can. Let's try this. So this is the Zoom screen. And here's the Union Plus. Is everyone able to see this? So the degree, this is live. This is the Union Plus freecollege.org that we were talking about. First thing to notice, here's the 800 number. If someone in your family is interested, they can call this number. We operate a call center in Steubenville, Ohio. It is a unionized call center. We're OPEIU. And about half of our employees are also enrolled in our program. So this helps if someone is nervous or anxious about, maybe it's been a while, like they want to talk to somebody. This is a great resource for them. You can also click the Apply Now button. And what this does is this is the information page where you or your family members can start to fill out, what's your union affiliation? And this is where you'd put AFT, right? And then it'll say, have you been affected by COVID? And you say, yes. And if you don't know your local, you're going to put your CTU number in here. But if you don't know it, you just put CTU, and that's very, very helpful. If you're the union member, you're active union, but you can also list some of those family options. And then there's also other, and then you can also start to list out. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, right? But this is what you're filling out to raise your hand to say, I'm interested in this program. Other really helpful links here. This is a list of the degree programs. So you can start to see everything that we offer. And if you've got a child that wants to do digital and social media, or they want to, you want to study labor studies, we have a degree on that. And if you scroll down, you can see that there are then descriptions of each program. Here's our social work degree, for example. So your family members or yourselves can get a better understanding of what it is we offer. We have a very robust frequently asked question page. This is just about everything I've covered and 1,000 times more. I was talking about transfer courses with OTM or with the tag courses in Ohio. So here's a list of a bunch of those courses. Again, if you have a child that's like a friend of ours, their daughter's supposed to be going to OU, but OU's not open. So they're right now paying $22,000 for that kid to sit in their house taking online courses. Well, your kids could be taking these for free and then transfer them to OU, right? That's an option. So I encourage you to explore this program. If you are interested or your family members are interested in the bachelor's degree, they click on this big purple box that says free bachelor's degree, and they get similar information here at the bachelor's degree page, all right, and including a breakdown of the programs we offer, et cetera. So I don't want to belabor that point too much. If we do jump back to the PowerPoint, what I have here is, I believe, our thank you page. And I wanted to put this back up because it does have my email address. What I'm going to do right now is go to the questions. So feel free if you have any. If you're like me, it's going to be 10 minutes after we hang up that you have all these really good questions. So if you don't write anything down, please do take down djones@student-resource.org, and you can email me your questions directly, and I'll let Cindy know that you've reached out, and we've got a bunch of questions. But we got lucky number 13 here. I think that's Odell Beckham's number. But let's go through here, and we have a Steelers fan. That was the first comment. I love it. I'm actually sitting in Pittsburgh right now, working with one of our other union partners. First question is no master's degrees. So as of right now, we do not. It took us about 4 years to get the bachelor's degree up and running. I can tell you it will not take that long for us to add master's degrees. It may not be that the masters are free, to be honest with you, but you can expect if we do offer masters, number one, education would be the first discipline we offered them in. And number two, they would be significantly discounted. If we can get them to free, we will. But that's our position on master's degrees as of right now. Can we use these classes as a way to support us if continuing ed? So I have taken that away, and I will get a message to Cindy immediately. And then what we can do is communicate that to the folks that were on this webinar, and we'll make it even more broadly available to CTU. Okay. All right, Calvin. We do have a question about previous college credit. So yeah, if you're that close to graduating, if it's your early childhood bachelor's, you will absolutely take my email down, Cal, and I'll text it to you privately, because you should be able to transfer in. So transferring of credit is interesting, right? If you have enough credits, it might actually be better to take 1 or 2 classes with us and then transfer them back to, in this case, Bowling Green, and get your degree from Bowling Green. Colleges have something called a residency requirement, which means at Central State, you have to take a minimum of 18 courses at Central State to get a Central State degree. So if you have enough credits, it may make more sense to just take classes with us and then transfer them to BG to get your degree. So let's talk about that one offline. Let's see what other messages we have here. Yeah, so if you've got a bachelor's in psych or soc or history, and what you want is to get a degree that we showed you, whether it's in education, again, at the bachelor's level, we can absolutely do that. If you have a bachelor's in psych and you've always wanted an associate's degree in marketing or something like that, you can do that too. All right, so we don't place any restrictions. Credits from Tri-C absolutely will credit transfer into Eastern Gateway. You just have to have those officials sent over, and then we have a transcript evaluator that goes through them. Again, transfer of credit is always a little sticky. It depends on what you took, depends on how long ago you took it, and it depends on what degree you're going for. So if you took a bunch of classes in dental assisting and now are trying to get a degree in education, a lot of that's not going to transfer, right? It's like the old telephone switchboard. If we take the plug out of one place, we got to be able to put it in somewhere else. Okay. So I always say to students, err on the side of sending in your official transcripts, because the worst thing that they can say is no. But if they say yes, then you're graduating a lot faster. If someone's daughter wants to be a nurse, all right, so we have a couple options actually. So nursing, you obviously can't do it online, right? If you can, I don't want the nurse that learned how to put in a needle online, right? I want someone that did the practicum, right? So many people that are pursuing nursing will use our general studies associate's degree to take care of their general education, psych, soc, history, math, etc. And then they can then transfer those credits to a nursing program closer to home. So that's one option. The college I know right now is putting through their curriculum committee a health services associate's degree, which is particularly geared for people that want to pursue nursing. So it's very similar to the associate's degree I just mentioned, but it includes anatomy and physiology and microbiology and a variety of other healthcare specific courses that would be more beneficial for someone looking to transfer to a nursing program. So the AA, which is our Associate of Arts, is the first step, but if they are looking to start in January, they might be looking for that health services degree. Again, go to the website for the most recent listing and pay attention to your CTU emails as we're promoting new programs that get launched. If you currently hold a degree, you can absolutely take. We have students that finished their first associates in the spring and then signed up for their second associates in the fall. Does the university offer job placement? Both of our institutions do. Eastern Gateway has career services for their associate's degree, and we also offer career services through Central State, particularly if you're looking to be placed as a teacher. Central State has been providing teachers for 60 years to the state of Ohio. They have relationships with every district. And frankly, the districts are going to Central State begging them to send graduates. All right, so you are in high demand, not only in Ohio, but in other, if you ever wanted to move to California and teach, you could do it. We definitely need to talk about continuing education. I see that. Can I talk about IT programs such as cybersecurity? So we do. We have an IT associate's degree. That includes a variety of certifications like CompTIA's A+. You do networking. You do Cisco. You do Linux. You do a variety of networking courses as well. That's all listed on the website. So that's all within our IT associate's degree program. We also have shorter term tracks for cybersecurity, which lead to the CompTIA S+ certification. Those certs are important because, again, it's like having a gateway to a job. If you have those certifications, you're able to apply. I've got 89 credits towards my bachelor. How long would it take to finish? So 89 credits is about 2/3. Typical bachelor's degree is 120 hours. So if your bachelor's in psych and you're now saying you want a bachelor's, let's assume in education, you're probably going to have to take some of the prerequisite courses. So it may take closer to that 2 years, depending on how many hours you take, obviously, per term. But that is absolutely something that you'll speak with your enrollment advisor about. And then once you're enrolled at Central State, you're assigned a faculty advisor as well. And it's your faculty advisor that will really work with you not only on getting you completed, but also placing you in your practicum and then talking with you about employment post-graduation. Cindy, we're getting a bunch of requests to make sure everyone gets emailed after, and we'll 100% do that. So I want to assure everyone. If your nephew who's 24 applies, whose income will they look at? So that's entirely dependent on who fills out the FAFSA. A 24-year-old is probably right on the border of filling out his or her, oh, sorry, it's a him, nephew, his own FAFSA, unless his parents claim him for insurance or other purposes on their taxes. I think 26 is the absolute limit. I'm not a financial aid expert by any means, but 24 is right on the border. So for many individuals, depending on their income, it makes more sense to file as an individual, but ultimately it depends on if they're claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes. This is a good point to know. If you call the number or you submit the application form, right? So go to the unionplusfreecollege.org website. We have a complete financial aid help desk that's staffed 24 hours a day, and they can answer questions on anything related to financial aid, including things about what they look at. Do we use life experience for credit? That's a great question. So there is something called a prior learning assessment. There is something called a CLEP exam. And let's say you've gone through a lot of workplace training, or in another life, you were a police officer and you went to basic training for that, or you were in the military. You can ask the college, this is Eastern Gateway specific, to evaluate those things for prior learning credits or prior learning units, they're also called. So that's a great thing to bring up with your advisor. It's such a personal one-on-one experience that's how you would handle that. But definitely if you have those kind of training modules, please bring them up. Yes, I can send Cindy a copy of this presentation to distribute. I will happily do that right after. Great questions. There's another Cindy on who's finally asked about student teaching, right? I'm on with a group of teachers. Student teaching is done in person, right? So while our program is online, we even have some students who do their observational hours online. Let's assume you're a para and it's time to do your student teaching, and it would be really convenient for you to, so let's say you work at, I don't know, Heights High, that's where I grew up. What we would do is Central State University would work with maybe that's a bad example, but would work with Heights to set you up with your advisor, right, which is usually the master level teacher that you're working with, that you're student teaching under, so that you could continue to do your student teaching in the building. Now, if you don't want to do it in your building and you'd rather go somewhere else, we can do that too. But for many people, given the restrictions of travel and everything, student teaching is done in person. I will say, given what happened in March, our student teachers, and we have student teachers in 4 different states right now, including Ohio. The first 6 weeks were done in person, and then COVID happened, and we had to do the final 6 weeks virtually. So that constituted, unfortunately, more Zoom meetings, but Zoom meetings between the student teacher and their advisor or the master student teacher, and that's how those relationships happened. So your advisor was still reviewing your curriculum, was still going through your lesson plans, going through your assignments, and so that's again handled right now in a specific way. But assuming you're interested in this, you'll get started in January. You wouldn't be student teaching till the fall of next year anyway, at the very earliest. You'd be back student teaching in person. Student teaching assignments are made in consultation between the student, and there's actually an individual at Central State whose only job is placing students in student teaching. So you'll work with her on whether you want to go to Heights or where you want to go to Hughes or wherever you want to do your student teaching. It is 4:15. I've eaten up more than enough of your time.